The Vatican was at a standstill, a kingdom in checkmate. A dying pope and a college of cardinals in open rebellion against his final wishes. The world waited for the pope's death to resolve the crisis. But beneath the marble and gold, tension simmered. The Curia, guardians of tradition, watched every move with suspicion, while Tagle's supporters whispered of revolution in the shadows. The air was thick with uncertainty, as if the ancient stones themselves were holding their breath. They had no idea he had one last system-breaking move to make. This is the footage that is currently breaking the world. Leaked just minutes ago by a source inside the papal apartments. The world's media is in a frenzy, scrambling to verify what they are seeing. This is the last testament of Pope Leo XIV, recorded in his final moments. The room is silent except for the faint beeping of medical machines and the whispered prayers of those present. And what he says will shatter the Catholic Church forever. The world held its breath, unaware that the very foundations of the Catholic Church were about to be shaken. Within the hallowed walls of the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV, weakened by illness but resolute in spirit, prepared to make a final earth-shattering decree. He knew his time was short, and the weight of his office pressed heavily upon him. The future of the Church, the spiritual home to over 1 billion people, rested on his shoulders. He had witnessed the growing divide, the rigid adherence to outdated laws, and the stifling of the true message of the gospel. He felt a profound responsibility to guide his flock towards a path of compassion, understanding, and genuine faith. Therefore, with my final act as Vicar of Christ, I declare my brother, Luis Antonio Tagle, to be the true shepherd of my flock, the spiritual head of the Catholic Church. Where he is, there is the Church. Follow him. The video ends as he slumps back, his mission complete. The world is left in stunned silence, the weight of his words echoing through history. A seismic shift had occurred, and the implications would reverberate for generations to come. The camera, his only confidant in this moment of profound decision, recorded his every breath, every flicker of emotion in his eyes. He looks into the camera, and with his final strength, he makes his declaration. "The cardinals have chosen the letter of the law over the spirit of the gospel," he whispers, his voice raspy but filled with conviction. They have become entangled in legalistic interpretations, losing sight of the true essence of Christ's teachings, love, forgiveness, and service to others. He pauses, gathering his strength, knowing that his next words would challenge the very structure of the Church. But the authority of Peter is not their prisoner. It resides in the heart of the Church, in the unwavering faith of its people, and in the divine guidance of the Holy Spirit. It cannot be confined by earthly rules or political maneuvering. This is the act that changes everything. A pope has never done this. He has not named a successor in law. He has named a successor in spirit. He has effectively used his final breath to declare his own chosen heir the true pope, rendering the coming conclave illegitimate in the eyes of his followers. He has split the papacy itself in two. The ancient line of succession, unbroken for 2 millennia, is now shattered. The Pope's final command, a desperate plea from his deathbed, has been met with outright defiance. They have completely rejected his final command. The press conference descends into chaos as journalists demand answers, their voices a rising tide of disbelief and outrage. The Dean's face is red with anger, a mask of barely controlled fury, his voice trembling as he insists the See of Peter is vacant and the conclave will proceed as law demands. He attempts to maintain order, but the room is a maelstrom of shouted questions and accusations. Outside, crowds gather, a sea of faces reflecting a mixture of grief, confusion, and simmering anger, some weeping, others shouting, as the news spreads like wildfire, carried on the winds of social media and traditional news outlets alike. The very foundations of the Church seem to tremble under the weight of this unprecedented challenge to papal authority. Rome's reaction was instant and brutal, a swift and decisive rejection of the dying Pope's wishes. The cardinals, cloistered within the Vatican walls, immediately declared the Pope's final words to be the meaningless ramblings of a dying man, dismissing his decree as the product of a weakened mind. They announced his death with solemn pronouncements carefully crafted to minimize the impact of his last-minute intervention, and are proceeding with their own election, calling the Pope's deathbed act a diabolical manipulation, a desperate attempt to control the future of the Church from beyond the grave. The speed and forcefulness of their response suggest a pre-planned strategy, a determination to maintain the established order at any cost, regardless of the potential consequences for the faithful and the future of the Catholic Church. The world watches with bated breath, unsure of what will come next in this unprecedented crisis of faith and power. The schism, once simmering beneath the surface, has now erupted into a full-blown crisis. It's no longer a mere political disagreement, a difference of opinion on doctrine or governance. It has transformed into something far more profound and dangerous. It is now a battle, a deeply personal and ideological struggle between two men. These are not just any men, they are figures of immense spiritual authority, each considered the rightful pope by hundreds of millions of people across the globe. A world map dramatically splits in two, a visual representation of this devastating division. On one side, half the dioceses turn a stark, unwavering red, signifying their allegiance to Rome. On the other, an equally resolute blue claims the remaining territories for Tagle. There is no middle ground left, no room for compromise or negotiation. The lines have been drawn, the sides have been chosen, and the faithful are forced to make an impossible decision. The Church, once a symbol of unity and unwavering faith, is now a battlefield. It's a battlefield of faith and loyalty, where hearts and minds are the ultimate prize. The very foundation of the Church is being shaken as this schism deepens. The implications are staggering, the consequences far-reaching. While Rome maintains its traditional stance, a significant portion of the global Catholic community has embraced Tagle. But half the world, or at least a substantial portion of it, has not only accepted it, but has actively championed Tagle's cause. Tagle supporters, fueled by fervent belief and unwavering devotion, have declared the Pope's dying wish to be an infallible, divinely inspired command. They see it not as a mere suggestion or a plea, but as a direct mandate from God, channeled through the Pope in his final moments. This declaration has solidified their resolve and strengthened their commitment to Tagle. They now, with unwavering conviction, refer to Tagle as the Holy Father. This title, once reserved solely for the Pope in Rome, is now bestowed upon Tagle by his devoted followers, further deepening the divide and solidifying the schism within the Church. The use of this title is not merely a symbolic gesture. It represents a fundamental shift in allegiance and a complete rejection of Rome's authority. The crisis is absolute. The schism is complete. There are now two men who claim the chair of Peter, and a 2000-year-old institution has just collapsed into civil war. The world watches, breathless, as a new and terrifying era begins. The Catholic Church is broken. The Pope's final act has ensured it. As the cardinals prepare to elect a new Pope in Rome, half the world has already crowned another. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.